tell us, first of all, what are the big stories emerging for 2010? And tell us about the conference and how you're going to cover some of those trends.
Yeah, I think the first is the recovery, at least in terms of advertising online, if not in print. So I think that will be a theme that will play out over the rest of 2010. It probably will be slow, but at least we're beginning to see, even in our own small little businesses, we're seeing those. And as you look across bigger media companies and entertainment companies, you're beginning to see some of that happen. So that theme will play out over the next year. The debate about paid content will hopefully either die down because advertising is coming back and everybody will just focus on that, or you will see actual efforts beyond just the debate of free versus paid. You'll actually see implementations of those beyond the usual suspects that we all talk about, FT Wall Street Journal and all these others that already do it. We'll see some new efforts beginning to happen in 2010. The newspaper spiral, death spiral, will play out. It'll keep playing out till whenever that happens. The jobs in those sectors are not coming back. You'll see that play out over 2010. Then themes like a topic that's actually very hot these days is the rise of the content factories or farms or whatever you want to call it. Companies like Demand Media, Associated Content, AOL starting to get into some of that. So as AOL starts getting more into that, because it's a big player in this, you will see that story play out over 2010. Some of these companies will fall by the wayside. Some of them will be bought. A few might even IPO. And IPO is another theme over 2010. You'll see some of these mature, or at least revenue-generating companies probably at least file there for IPO, if not actually go for IPO next year. Companies like LinkedIn, Facebook, some talk about Zynga as well, and some of the others that could possibly be Demand, Glam. So all these companies, the IPO theme might play out next year. Also, the industry joint ventures, Vivo just launched. Hulu, of course, has been a great success story for 2009, at least in terms of audiences and revenues to some extent. The magazine joint venture that was just announced will probably launch next year. We might even see a news industry joint venture launch. So you'll see the industry joint venture trend or this success or the lack of it play out over the next year as well. M&A will probably pick up quite a bit over the next year as the bigger companies start loosening their purse. And the valuations of the companies that are being sold remain rational to a large extent.